It's been 10 years. I was really surprised when someone reminded me that it's been 10 years since we moved to pathology in academia, and the experience has been really fast. I actually think that it doesn't feel like 10 years, and I think time flies when you're having fun or when you're really busy.
2004, there was some conceptualized plan of the new lab, and then after that there was a so-called a groundbreaking ceremony in 2007, and then along the way several years of, unfortunately, several years of delay again, until only in 2012 we had a topping out ceremony, and then finally in 2013 the whole building was completed, and as we know now, academia.
The timing of the move was very good because it also latched on to the time when a lot of pathology advances were progressing. So there was a lot of space for creation of space for specific tests, and I think a lot of our senior staff took advantage of that, and we were able to progress more rapidly during this time.
We've been transformed in two major ways. The first is the introduction of new technology, and in molecular pathology, the biggest new technology that was introduced was next generation sequencing. And next generation sequencing, or NGS for short, has allowed pathologists to detect multiple mutations in tumors within a single test, and this has allowed us to give oncologists and clinicians targeted therapies for individual patients. NGS has also been used in clinical microbiology for infection control purposes within the hospital. And the second way SGH Pathology has been transformed is the introduction of automation, and this has allowed us to perform newer tests as well as to perform tests of a far higher throughput. And an example is the Roche 6800 instrument, which we brought in the year 2020 to help us perform COVID-19 PCR. We brought in 3 of these instruments, which would not have been possible in the old building because each instrument measures 3 meters by 2 meters and weighs at least 1,600 kilograms each. And even with these instruments, we had to borrow a lot of space within academia, and also borrow a lot of personnel to help us with the workload. So we are very grateful for everyone's support, both within pathology as well as our research colleagues in the Discovery Tower in the academia.
We have always aspired to expand our specialized chemistry repertoire. Over the last 10 years since our move to academia, we are very proud to be easily the forerunners amongst Singaporean tertiary labs to be using the gold standard mass spec and HPLC technologies. We are a reference lab now for immunosuppressants, trace metals and vitamins, and the only lab in Singapore offering tests for plasma metanephrines and antifungals.
Yeah, the move for hematology laboratory to the academia was a great move, and we're all very excited about it. Although initially, some of us had some apprehension about the great logistics involved, as well as the turnaround time. But thanks to the help of all the lab staff, we're able to move over smoothly and safely. What I see as the greatest transformation in terms of laboratory equipment, analyzers, of course, we have more space to put them in, and there are more space for staff to move around. And I also begin to see more hematology doctors getting interested in doing laboratory work and crafting out their specialty in the lab. And that's a good sign, and I see that as the biggest transformation. With this new move, the hematology laboratory is now working closer together with the other departments in the pathology division, anatomical pathology, microbiology, the molecular pathology and clinical pathology. And we are working together as a close-knit family, and that's a good sign. The other thing that I want to mention is that there's better teaching facilities. Like right in the past, in the old lab, we were using 3-header microscope to teach. Now with me, I have this 5-header teaching microscope. And we can also share with the anatomical pathology on the 10-header microscope for teaching. We hope to teach and groom younger hematologists to be more interested in taking up laboratory hematology.
One of the most fun and memorable moments we had in academia is, I can't recall which year it is, where we actually had a retreat, and at level 7 everybody was doing the drawing, and which was then put together as a montage. I think that was really fun, and it really demonstrates how the level 7 garden or the open foyer space is actually being maximized and really put into good use.
Remember, we had a team building event last year. We made lanyards. So I show you, that's the lanyard I made. And that was fun. But in terms of work moments, the most memorable moment would be the afternoon of the 23rd of January 2020, when we just finished the first run of our new COVID-19 PCR tests. And to our surprise, we realized there was one strongly positive sample, and that was when we realized that was Singapore's very first COVID-19 patient. So it was great excitement in the lab, very memorable, because we knew from that day onwards COVID-19 had reached the shores of Singapore.
I remember that right after we moved to the academia, we had some team building events. Of note, a team building event where we got amazing race through all the various levels in the building, where we had games on level 1, dance on level 7, and so on and so forth.
So when we first moved, we wanted to celebrate Chinese New Year, and we said it would be really fun to have. We moved in May, but Chinese New Year was sometime in January or February. But we decided that we will have Lo Hei on the bridge. You know, at level 10, there is a bridge that straddles the diagnostic tower and the research tower. So it was a perfect height actually to be able to see the view of the area around us and not be blocked by the roof at level 13. So we had tables laid out for Li Sang, and we had a great time. And then after that, we were told we were not allowed to have any more Li Sang on the bridge.
Sometimes when you're working hard in the evenings, when you look out over the windows and from academia level 10, you look over to the Tiong Bahru area and you see the sun setting. Sometimes it's a very nice warm feeling that you get just looking out and being able to see some greenery into the distance.
Much appreciated physical area is the toilets. You'll be surprised to know that I really appreciate the wonderful toilets and all the amenities in the new building. It was very well planned. It was like coming to a hotel, 5-star hotel. I mean, as far as we wanted to say, the toilets in the old academia unfortunately were very old. and many of them were sporting toilets and it's not so suitable for older people like me. So we really appreciate that some renovations were done to improve the toilet, but nevertheless, nothing, I mean, it's very makeshift. And so really, when we came to here, I really appreciate the toilets, very first class, very good. So I appreciate that very much.
Favorite corner? This is my favorite corner. I still like to come to work after, even now it's like 10 years, I still like to come to work.
I think we are quite fortunate to be on a high level as compared to many of the other laboratories, and at level 10, I think one of the favorite spots is always the seats outside, in between diagnostics tower and the discovery tower, where we can overlook at the skyline of the Singapore city.
There are a lot of open space and airy space here, but a specific corner that I like will be in level 3, near where the hematology office is. There's a library next to it, and behind there's a huge greenery space where I usually sometimes walk over there to stretch myself and catch a good breath.
So in the next 10 years, I see SGH Pathology growing in terms of reputation and visibility, leveraging on our treasure trove of human talents and harnessing the strengths of advancing technologies.
Yeah, I would like for each laboratory section to grow from strength to strength and to gain new capabilities. And in particular, I'd like for each colleague within my department to feel that SGH Pathology is the place for them to grow their careers and to feel that they belong. I think our younger pathologists and technologists and scientists are all very keen and enthusiastic in learning and applying new techniques. I believe that we are in very good hands, and SGH Pathology will continue to be in the forefront of pathology and will grow from strength to strength.
Hope to be able to maximize the space that we have in the department and to really expand on the services that we have, including things like digital pathology, immunohistochemistry, multiplex immunohistochemistry imaging, as well as do more discovery related work.
People always talk about using lab tests that is faster. We hope that we can indeed do that in the sense of faster turnaround, and in which the test may be able to come up using new technologies like molecular tests that can then diagnose faster and easier, because the traditional culture base for bacteriology cultures will take more than a day to sometimes longer even to get the bacteria growing, and then with susceptibility tests may add on another day.
I hope that pathology will continue in the face of many new challenges and advances like digital pathology, AI, and of course the past 2 years of the COVID pandemic. I think microbiology, histopathology, molecular, hematology have all got areas to move forward to. We have also looked at our automation now with the new lab spaces in biochemistry and clinical pathology. I wish pathology all the best. Our time in academia has been very enriching, and I hope to continue to be part of the division and the laboratories of pathology serving our patients in our hospital. Thank you.